Good day, folks, and welcome back. We're on our way to Lago. We are doing the final lap of the Human Comedy Series, the final race of the Human Comedy Series, which is Lago Maggiorre. As those of you that know, we've done this many a time, but we're just going to work our way through all the cars to see which ones are capable and which ones do it. We've done the AMG GT3, etc. There's a few cars that aren't in the race, and it'd be interesting to know why, and let's try and use those cars just to give you options and opportunities to do one. So there's two versions of the M6 GT3. There's the M6 GT3 Sprint and there's the Endurance model, both from 16. They would both be very interesting to try, but what we are going to try is what the cursor's on today, which is the GTR Nismo. We're going to see what that does. Let's purchase some tyres. As you can see, we've obviously never done this race before. Car settings is bopped. Put them onto mediums. Settings is where they are and what they is. Let's have a look at the ECU. And yeah, you can change those gears anywhere between up to about 5,800 and you'll get pretty decent power through the gear range. As we say, it's a bopped race, so the only thing we'd change are our settings. Assist will be traction control 1, default ABS. Everything else off, and our controller settings for those that know. Open button configuration, we're using a G29 wheel, so force feedback max torque 5, force feedback sensitivity 6. And with that, folks, let's just dive straight in. Here we go then, folks. Key thing is to see, the first thing we need to try and see is if we think we can do 15 laps on the fuel. So lap 1 will tell us whether that's going to be possible. Just going to squeeze up the inside there. Moreno goes to the grass after a little tap on his bottom from us. We're into 11th. Second gear for this corner, see if we can get alongside Moreno in the Jag. Yes. See if we can chase Huffman down now. Car didn't want to turn in there, big and heavy with fuel. We've got fresh tyres though, so we're going to force the tyres to do everything as we slowly accelerate out the corner. Up the inside. There we go. Chase down Mr. Grady. So depending on where we are with fuel at the end of this lap determines what we're going to attempt to do. Then we're going to monitor tyres. We need the fuel to equal 14 laps at the end of this one. Oh, Mr. Grady, that didn't help us. Short shifting does help with the fuel consumption. Just had a lift there. Whoa, we took a pound in the left-hand door and we're getting a shove. Mr. Grady pushing on us. Well, that's only fair. That's exactly what we do to the AI. Yeah, that's what we do to them. So sometimes you've got to take the rough with the smooth. You've got to give what you take. You've got to take what you give. I mean, 14.7 laps of fuel. That's alright. We're looking good here, folks. We're looking good for a one-stopper. Now we've got to get the lap time down without destroying the front of our car on the back of the Audi or taking a pounding in the rear. That's Mr. Grady buckled up. Right front wheel damage. Didn't expect a Grady to slow down the way he did, but you should expect it. 7th place with 7.8 seconds off the front. Lap 2. Plenty of fuel for a one-stopper. Let's hope that right-hand wheel damage goes away pretty soon. It's gone now. Concentrate on chasing down Miazano. Keep the steering wheel smooth. Let's not yank it too hard. Getting up to 5th there is quite an effort. Quite an achievement. Let's see if we can take Miazano on the outside of here. On the inside, sorry, on the out point of that chicane. We are well faster than the AI through there, so we've got to capitalise. Feels like this is going to be a 2:05, but I'm not going to be happy with that. Nostra goes to the gravel as Beauvoir and Robillard chase away at the front. We overtook them both on that manoeuvre. That was a bit dodgy. Oh my word. So chase Beauvoir down. It's a big old chunk of car, this. Is this going to be the one? Is it going to feel like it's going to go fast enough? We want it to be. 2-minute lap, but we did have an incident in turn 1. We did have a couple of people to overtake, so come on, let's get this lap time down. We've got 14 laps of fuel left at this point. Let's go, 9 seconds off the lead, 3 seconds behind Beauvoir. Looks like another 3 seconds to Robillard, then 3 seconds to Yamanaka. Two seconds ahead of Nostra. Now I think you all know at this point that this is one of my favourite races. It's always a challenge to try and find the cars to win this race. I mean, we get no credits for it. I think you realise that now. You're here watching it because A, you either enjoy it yourself, you're looking for inspiration, or you're here watching these videos because you're trying to beat these challenges. You're trying to find out what cars are the ones for you. That's what we do it for. And like I say, no credits earned from this for me, because it's not a grind track, it's just one I really enjoy the racing. It's very well staged. We're on hard settings, so ultimately it's man against the AI, and we're coming from 12th position to try and win it. And the key is to try and find those cars that will win it. I have been saying in all videos that any GR3 car will win this race, and I still do believe that, but I have found some that won't win it on a simple 3-stint 2-stopper. Now I'm trying to find those cars that will try and win it if we can on one stop. So that was a 1:58. That is the target lap time we want. We want to now put in consistent 1:58s for about the next 12 laps. If we can do that, that would be epic. Even tyre wear, front to rear. We've got plenty of fuel. We're losing 0.3 of a second a lap to the leader. Beauvoir is just holding us honest. He's keeping that 3 seconds. We're going to try and just eke that in. We want to be closer to these guys. We know Yamanaka's going to pit on 8, whether that's the start of 8 or end of 8. I think it's the end of 8. Or just to see how it pans out though, because the race does change between restarts. We're just hauling Beauvoir in, half a second a lap roughly. Cut this corner a bit, try and gain a little. Not that much slide there, so 1/4 of a second up on the last lap. A little bit of a lift there. 57's good. A 57 is where we need to be to guarantee a one-stopper, but we've got to do it for the next 11 laps. A little bit of a tweak at the back end just to keep my nerves going, just to keep the pucker on. .65. Let's see if we can take another half a second through this part of the circuit. I know I'm not massively fast around that corner. It's one of my weak spots at this track. We managed to get up to 5th there, so we were quite quick. Short shifted through there. We've got him down to 2 seconds. So we took a second out of him across the whole lap, and we're marginally down on our last lap time. But let's keep going. Robilar's coming back, and Yamanaka, so we're just eating into them. Let's hope we're not doing a self-damage on our tyres. But if we can keep those 158s, we will be good. Quite happy with 4th place at the minute. Just keeping us a little bit honest. All 3 of them are in front of us down this straight. We can see them all. So target acquired. We know where we're going. Fronts are wearing a little bit more than the rears now. See if we can do a bit more turning earlier in the corner rather than burning them up through the long corners. The fronts wear a lot because you slide in the car. Traction control 1 helps you to reduce the wheel spin and just stops those rears wearing quite so much. So just half a second down there. We're just being a bit cautious and a bit easy with those fronts. Let's keep it in the 158s though. We're visibly catching him. Look, he's down to 1.5s, but Yamanaka's put the hammer down again. He's pushed us out to 9 seconds. So Beauvoir is going to possibly just hold us up a fraction. He's not holding us up now, but that's down to us. It would be good if Roblar and Yamanaka can mix it up a bit, and they can start pushing, but there's a gap between them, look. It's another 58, which is great. I think they've got to be 58 deads, to be honest, but we're going to try this as a one-stopper. I think that's confirmed that that's what we're going to try and do. We've got the fuel, definitely. And it just takes the throttle booted as you come through that corner in 3rd. I just floor it. It just takes it. 4th gear. Short shear to 5th, we run on the grass, but we're there with him now, we're with Beauvoir, so we're going to get that draft as we come up here, we're going to go faster into 6th. We should be able to pop out from his draft, spot the braking point. We've got him. He gives us a tap on the rear as we go past, just to say well done young man, he just acknowledged our prowess. But he's running a different race to us obviously, he's just off pace for whatever reason. We know he's a two-stopper guy, but we don't know what instructions he's following from the pit wall. We're being told to push. We're a little slow through there. 9.2 seconds to Yamanaka. 5 seconds back to Rubilar. So let's see if we can get him down over the next 2 laps. Yamanaka should be pitting the end of this lap. That was a 58.4. I was hoping that was going to be a little bit quicker than that. Fronts are just pushing a little bit now. There we go, we've both got them inside. 9.8 seconds. Fronts are wearing more. Bit wide there, but second gear through the apex instead of third, which we've been doing of late, but it's been going slower. See if we can start to hunt these guys down now. Probably aiming for a 58.5 again. But as the fuel weight burns down, let's see what we can do. See if we can push these tyres a little bit more. We're over halfway. These front tyres are going to be a bit sad, I think, by the 15th lap, but let's see what we can do. Using all the grass that's available as well. The idea is to keep the 58.5s. That would be good. That would help us. But I want to be 58.0s. There's Yamanaka on schedule, going to the pits. On 40%. We're 5.5 seconds down on Rubilar. So we just need to try and not lose touch with him. Again, there's a 58.5. .5 seconds back. Just that 0.2 off our previous fastest lap, and we don't seem to be able to improve that outward sectors. Didn't change down to second for the apex, kind of slowed us down there, so that'll put us somewhere closer to a 59, but see if we can hold those 58s. We've got 6 laps to go. As fronts seem to be starting to bear up. Nobody really behind us. Beauvoir some 3.7 seconds back. Can't see where Yamanaka came out the pit, so he's dropped a fair way back down the field. We'll give you a rundown of the field as we go through the start finish. Rubilar in first, 6.2 seconds ahead. So he's just started to pull out on us. We're in second, Beauvoir third, Cookabun fourth, just going to brake at this point here. Beauvoir's gone to the pits on 35% of fuel, and our back end starts to kick out on us. Lost a little bit of time there as we fought with that. Cookabun is some 14 seconds back though. Rubilar now 7 seconds ahead. We don't want this car just to start playing with us. We've just got to go another 5 laps on these tyres. Braking through the apex, going to floor it in third now. At 59.1 after our little hiccup through the banked corner there at the far end of the circuit. This is going to be close to a 50. Oh, that was horrible. Turned in a little bit too sharply for that. Trying to reduce the slide. 0.4 down. We haven't done too badly. We've eased that a little bit. .2 he's back down to, so we've had a bit of a bad lap, and so's he. I don't know whether he's on his in lap for his pit stop, but we're 14 seconds ahead of Cookabun. Now the problem we've got is we've got a long stop, properly long stop, somewhere in the region of a minute, one would say. Let's see how we go. Tyres looking good, 5.6 laps of fuel, so we're going to have 1.6 laps spare it looks like. When we get to the end here, got him down to 6.1 seconds. That was better through there, that was a 58.6. So we're pulling it back to that 58.5. Let's see if we can just keep that going. Two stoppers are just starting to stop now. Over the next couple of laps, all the two stoppers will drop in, and then we'll just start to see the one stoppers coming through. They will take the higher positions. Things will just turn around a little bit. There, we turn through there nicely. Had to have a double bite at that left under. So we're closer to our fastest lap at that point. Let's see what we can do. We're actually closer to Cookabun. We've got him down to less than 6. So the lighter fuel load starting to pay in our favour. 5.8. Let's see how many laps he goes. The longer laps he's going to go, the more fuel he's going to have to take to finish the race. Feeling a bit casual at this point of the race, but we are just trying to nurse those fronts. Rear's looking good. Stayed out, he's not gone to the pits yet. We're maintaining that 5.8 seconds. Another 58.3, that's decent. Starting on lap 12, so we've got 12, 13, 14, 15, 4 complete laps to do. Just stop that back end slide, and we lost 0.2 purely from lifting the throttle there. And a 2-stopper up front. Mr. Rubilar keeps chugging out the laps. He's gone to lap 12. We're chasing him down, and he's starting to push out the gap again. He's taken half a second on us. This must be his in lap, because he's pushing hard. We're just going to have to try and respond a little bit, just to try and stay with him. He's being told by the pit wall to push, because they've sensed we're doing a one stop now. They know they're changing tyres, so they can hammer what they've got left. We're again close to our potential fastest lap. We've got him down at 5.5, so we are starting to chuck into him. That was a little bit of effort from him, but we've rebuffed that. Cookabun 17 seconds behind us, so Cookabun is also a one-stopper, and we're nicely ahead of Cookabun at this point. This is feeling very positive. This is feeling like this is working in our favour. I'm expecting Rubilar to take to the pits. He has. He's gone in now on 21% of fuel. We're going to push on to lap 13. We're going to do 3 more laps. And it says we've got 3.6 laps of fuel left. So we've actually burnt into that fuel a little bit. That lap was a 59.3. That wasn't brilliant. We need to get that back down to the 58s for these last 2 laps. Just have to keep the pressure on. Rubilar is now dropping down to 5th, 6th. He's taking all the fuel by the looks of it. He's taken all the fuel back up to 100%. And he's dropped him down to 8th place. Car's feeling slow, but the tyres are on the sad side. So give you a quick rundown. Cookabun 2nd, Miyazano 3rd, Inastra 4th, Yamanaka 5th. Yamanaka was leading the race and he's had his pit stop. He's the 3-stopper. Suswillow in 6th, Grady in 7th, Rubilar 8th. So you can see those 2 stoppers will start to cut back through the field, but they'll be heavy with fuel on brand new tyres. Our fastest lap of the race, a 57.903. Fastest lap currently sits with Mr. Wong at 57.726. So just 0.2 ahead of us. Lap 14, 2.7, 2.6, 59.5. We've just got to try and find a second each lap, but we're doing all right considering the tyres are absolutely spent. 16.7 seconds ahead of Cookabun at this point of the race. The only way they're going to be able to get in front of us is by short fueling. 16-second gap is quite significant. We're doing alright. Consistency lap time is key to this race, and we're not doing so bad. I don't think we're going to get the 31, but I think we could be in for a one-stop win here. It would be tremendous if we could. A one-stop win will just show us where we can go, and it's a question of either getting faster in the car to get consistent 58s, low 58s, guys had to point it at the apex there. So just looking up at the clock, 32.44 to go, 1.9 laps of fuel. Front left is looking a bit slidey, but we're about to enter the last lap for this stint. We'll be pitting for our last and final pit stop, our first and final pit stop, let alone last. need to take 15 laps of fuel. 18.8 seconds ahead of the guys behind Mr. Miazano. Mr. Cookabun's gone to the pits, having just lost the place to Miazano, who is just, again, Miazano being the Lamborghini guy. Cookabun's in on 5%. Inostra's gone in, so they've stopped on the end of 14. So that tells me they do have the fuel by the looks of it. And they're on hard tyres. We're the only two-stopper going on mediums. And they're holding up well. But 59.2, the last 3 laps is 59s. We need to just keep on top of that. Looking forward to a little refreshment as we take our pit stop. We're into that last lap almost on fuel. .8 seconds. It'll be interesting to know where we come out. Rubelar is back up to 4th place. Just have to see where we go. There's always that element of doubt. We never actually quite know where we're going to be or where we're going. Just fighting the slide. The backs are starting to look a little bit ropey, but we know we're in for the last time. 19 seconds ahead. Now I need to spot the corner, drive it in, 4th gear, up to 5th as we go in. We're going to take the mediums and we're going to let it fill up to 15 laps of fuel. We were coming up on the last back marker there, so we were in before the 30 minutes were up, which is excellent. And now we just have to push. We have to try and get ahead of these guys for the next time they pit. So we're down to 3rd place now. That's half the fuel. We're going to go when it says 15 laps. We're down to 4th. Miazano's into the pits. Suswillo's into the pits. We're doing alright. We're in 4th place. There we go. There's 15. We've dropped down. Well, we're back into 3rd. Somebody's going to be on our right hand side. I can feel it. There they are. That's Beauvoir by the looks of it. And he's just hit us again. So if we can keep Beauvoir behind us, that's a big scalp at this part of the race. He's one of the 2 stoppers that we've beaten. That's great. So we're 21 seconds behind the leader, Mr. Yamanaka, who's going to pit around about, I think, lap 17 or so. Will it be lap 17 he's going to pit? His 2nd pit event? It might be. Might be 19. Because he's on a 3-stopper, so you'd anticipate he'd be around about 16, 17. So he could be pitting any time soon. Rubelar is 13 seconds ahead of us, so he has made some headway, I think. But that means he's 8 seconds behind Yamanaka. Yamanaka's actually doing well to keep out in front. But he'll be stopping around about lap 24, lap 25 again, so we're heavy with fuel now, so we're not really going to get a good indicator of where we are for pace at this point, other than the fact that we're leaving Beauvoir behind. We're not stopping again, we must remember that. And we've got to try and keep these tyres preserved. So 14 seconds up to Rubelar. He's just catching Yamanaka. See if we can get this down in the 58. Be nice if we can do that. Mr. Lopez has appeared in the top 8. Just noticed him there in the Renault. That's a car we've got to try. But we're trying to do a car that isn't actually in the race to see how he goes, and we're trying to do something different with it. And at the moment it seems to be working, so if we can push this car on to get into the 59s, 58s, it would be brilliant. It's a little bit off, 0.7 of a second down. Not forgetting we don't want to be managing fuel. We came out with 15 laps, trusting the old fuel fill to tell us where we needed to be. If we can cross the line with 13 laps of fuel, I'll be happy. So Yamanaka's gone to the pits, pretty much on schedule as we expected. So that'll hand the lead over to Rubilar, and we need to come out in front of Yamanaka. We need to just spot when he starts to take fuel. There he is, he's taking fuel. I think we're going to get out in front of him at this point. There we go, we're 2.5 seconds ahead of Beauvoir. 15 seconds down on Rubilar. If we can keep Rubilar within that 15-second range, there's no way he can pit in and remain in front of us with a 15-second lead. No way. He's probably going to push now because he knows he's got to keep going. So he's going to be pitting in 2 laps time. And he's got to make a bigger gap between then and now. And then he's got to try and overtake us. Just have to see where we go. But it's a big lead this, trying to do a one-stopper. The last lap was a 59.391. We need to try and get that time down a bit, just to give us the assurity. Down to 15.8. So bit of to-in and fro-in with Rubilar at this point. He's pushing early in the lap, but later in the lap he's just letting it go. Not forgetting he'll be pitting very soon, so he'll be under instruction. He did actually pit around about 2 seconds after his scheduled stop, and he took 100% fuel. So we know he isn't going to have to stop for a massive amount of time. But it's more than 10 seconds to get tyres on a splash and dash. 15.8, we're coming down. 59.1, so it's coming down. Beauvoir's pitted. Hizal's gone to the pits. We haven't seen much to Hizal this race at all, have we? Haven't seen much of Fraga or Gallo. At this point we are just leapfrogging ahead of them. They are not going to be able to touch us because they're going to be pitting again. Rubilar's got the fastest lap of 57.459. We've just had our fastest first sector, but not fastest lap sector time. It didn't go purple, it went blue, which is still shows we're pushing on and we're making improvements. He's 15.8 ahead. 8 seconds ahead of Lopez. Just making progress, braking on the end of the wall now. We're going to be continuing to go lighter and lighter. Rubilar's pushed again. He's taken 0.3 out of us, and we're not going that slowly. He's taken 0.5 out of us. He's pushing hard at the back end of this lap. Is he pitting in? Is he pushing to pit? No. We're just chewing the time out of him again, and he's back up. Is he struggling with a back marker? Is that what we've just experienced? And now he's going to push again. He's back up to 16.3. There's definitely 2 cars ahead of us. I think he was struggling with the back marker as Gallo goes to the pits on 43% of fuel, medium tyres. So he's a 2-stopper gone in for his second pit. He's just fell backwards. He's not actually pushing with us, so we're 11.2 seconds ahead of Lopez, but we're now 16.6 seconds behind Rubilar, as we went 1/4 of a second faster than our previous fastest there. We've got to really start to push now. We can't get Rubilar. We can't let Rubilar just start to pull time out like that. He can't. 15.3, so we just took a second out of him. How's that happened? 15.2. Need to keep an eye on the fuel, make sure we're doing things like we should be. Around wide, that's not good. It's the gear change. All that effort we put in, we've just lost. Is he going to go to lap 22, or is he going to pit in now? He should be any time soon if he's on his schedule. We know he's changed his schedule just a wee bit. Tyres looking alright 5 laps in. Good even wear all round. He's gone past the pits on this occasion. Just keeping us guessing. There's somebody up ahead there. 15.5, is that Mr. Moreno? Down to 15.4. I'm pretty sure he's being told by his pit lane to push, push, push. The more fuel he uses, the more he's got to put in. Quarter of a second blue again. But we're losing time at that point. He's chewing the time out of us. 15.9. It's like a spring, like a zebedee, backwards and forwards. It's push me, pull you stuff. If we can get him down into the 14 seconds. We've had our fastest second split. Cookabun's now got the fastest lap. And there's Moreno, the tail ender, in front of us. A 56.911 to Cookabun. That is an impressively quick lap, which has just upset Rubilar, who's now dropped down to 14.9 ahead. So it shows we're pushing on and making progress. Come on, Moreno, don't do it. I'm going to go up your inside. I'm going to slide you on. There you go. We're looking alright for fuel with 9.5 laps left. He's back up above 15. He hasn't pitted yet. We're on lap 22. He could go to 24 based on his out laps, his first stint. Need to get that car turned a bit more as we come out of that corner. Don't really like the back end stepping out as it did there. Still not dipping into the 57s. going blue sector 1, blue sector 2 at the moment. We really got to shift up early then. Blue sector 2, 14.5 we've got him down to. I'd like to use the Ferrari 458 if I can. That's not actually in the race as far as I know at this point. Got him down to 14, that's great. Is he going to pit this time or is he going 2 more laps? Got him down to 13.5, so we're eroding his time, we're pulling away from Cookerman. We've got a 57.809, that's our personal fastest lap of the race, which is terrific. That's on lap 8 of this stint. Maybe lap 7 actually. As we start lap 8 is what I was trying to say. Robillard down to 12 seconds. Have we broken his spirit? Does he realise he's not going to be able to pit and keep out ahead of us? Does he realise he's going to have to come back and overtake us? Which is terrifically part of the process. It's going to be one of those where we're going to have to do all the defending. We've got him down to 11 seconds. This is epic stuff on our part. Is he considering pitting? Is he struggling with tail enders? That could be the problem. Who's this ahead of us? Is this Senna? Are these tail enders doing the work that we're paying them for as we just go riding onto the gravel? That's terrible. We were getting excited about being close to Senna. And then the boot will be on the other foot as we're having to overtake the back markers. And he'll be wanting to capitalise. 12.7. That's actually quite fast through there if we can cut that curve. I don't normally like cutting that curve, but this car seems to be really quite stable as we come into that corner. Going around the outside of Senna we did 12.38, he's still not pitted. We're going to have to push and capitalise. We're going to have to make this a thing. We're going to have to definitely try and force the trouble. He can't pit and take the fuel he needs, even though he's going deep. He's going to the end of 24 by the looks of it. By going that long and that deep, he is genuinely pushing for a very short splash and dash to finish the race on a 6 lap or 5 lap stint, depending on what he's going to do. 6 lap it's got to be. We've got 12 minutes 45 to go. Doesn't look like we're going to be able to push that 31st lap. We haven't done enough laps in the 58s or the 57s to be able to make that happen, I don't think. Now, if we get to within 15 seconds of... No, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. We needed to get to like 11:45 at the end of this lap for us to be anywhere near. And it's not going to happen. But we are going to be very close to that 31st lap, and we've found the right recipe. We've probably found the right car. We just have to... I was in the wrong gear completely there. I changed down, it didn't change back up. That's where we need to be at this point in the race. There he goes, Rubelar's in. I'd say we're some 15 seconds short of doing the 31st lap. But if we can start to put in some 57s, which I don't think will happen at this point in time. So it just depends on how far ahead we're going to get. Now he's taking fuel. Is he going to come out behind Cookabun? You know, he's out already. He is directly behind us and he's going to be chasing us down. So we've got to do all we can to keep ahead now. 5 laps to win this race. We did a 59.086. Let's see if we can put... He's 14 seconds behind, so... He's got to take 2 seconds out of us a lap. He's on fresh tyres. We're on 50% of the way through tyres, but we should be able to manage this. Manage the win with a 1 stop. But we can't rest on our laurels. We could have an incident here. We've got back markers we need to sieve through. We've got on fuel by the looks of it. We haven't made a mistake there. We don't need to pit, so we haven't forgotten. We're going to take him down the inside, yes. .9. Robillard is not coming back at us. He's not coming back. Putting in the 59s, which is all we need to do. Let's just pace ourselves to the end. I don't think we're going to get anywhere near to that required time. It's looking like we're going to be something like 45 seconds shy. But on a 1-stopper, that's pretty epic. We know this is a very capable car, even though it's not in the race with any AI driving it. He's letting us go. He's left the gap. Well done, young man. Cutting through the back markers. They're all doing their bit. Mr. Huffman, he let us through earlier. Make use of his draft. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I didn't know whether he's come back and dived on me, but he didn't. He backed right out of it. Every one of these back markers is being left for Rubelar to cut through. Doing what we need to do. A 1-stop is possible. Yamanaka goes to the pits for his 3rd pit, as we're now pulling in consistent 59s, in the low 59s. Ideally we want to be putting in 58s, but We're getting ourselves closer, but we're not doing enough to make that 31st lap. .1 seconds ahead. We'll give you a rundown on where we are on places. I make mistakes on the track when I'm doing that, so I just want to pick the right spot to do it. So Widdowmaker in first place, leading Rubbler in second by 15.6 seconds. We're on lap 27, Kukabun in third, Miazano fourth, Yamanaka fifth, Beauvoir in sixth, Lopez in seven, another one of the one-stoppers. Fraga in eighth. .45 minutes remaining on lap 27 as we go into lap 8. Tyres looking a bit shoddy, but they're doing what they need to do as we increase the lead to 16.9 seconds. Rubbler must be behind the back markers, struggling to make his way through. Oh, we got a bit tight there, didn't we? Oof. 5.3 left. We're on lap 28. We got 3 more laps to do. See if we can get up to 5th for this corner. We do, but we end up running wide. You can use all this curb, 5th gear. Don't run too wide. We'll get a penalty if you run too wide there. Using that curbing, which is a bit grim. 16 seconds in the lead. .4 just flashed up there. And it's roughly around about here where the flag will drop on lap 29, on lap 30, sorry, and that'll be how far short we are of lap 31. It's just 3 corners short, and the difference is running 58s instead of 59s. We've got to run 1 second quicker on each of those laps. Try and minimise the fuel stop. Try and take that less fuel. So we'll know that we can probably take 0.7 less. We'll be able to take 14.3 laps of fuel at that pit stop, and that will help us. It'll make us lighter, it'll make us potentially quicker. That was a 2.0 that last lap, purely caused by this corner, which we're not getting right at the minute. Kukabun's gone to the pit, so he's going to throw away his 3rd place. He was really down low on fuel. All he had to do, well, he needed 2 laps of fuel, didn't he? He only had 1. Beauvoir's had to go in. He had plenty of fuel. There was absolutely no need for him to stop. Beauvoir could have kept running unless his tyres were done, but he's only done 12 laps on those tyres because he stopped early, didn't he? You know you can get 15 out of them, but that AMG is pretty heavy on the tyres, I think. We're just slowing down now because we're not slowing down deliberately, but we know we can't get that 31st lap. We've worked that out, but we're not giving up on this race victory. This is pretty epic. Decent car. Decent car, the GTR. We know it is. We're just proving that it's possible. coming up to now. It's Mr. Moreno again for his second lap event. So we're going to put him 2 laps down. He's going to give us the gap, isn't he? He's going to let us go through. There we go. Another 59. We're actually not going to lap many cars considering we've only stopped once. On the final lap of the race, 1 minute 15 to go. Only 14.2 seconds ahead. Miazano's having to stop. He got plenty of fuel. Surely he didn't have to. His house stopped. It's all a little bit chaotic here. People stopping for whatever reason. 30 seconds left on the lap count. We need to be crossing that line with 157, 158, but we've not got it. Robilar's making a little push. He's obviously in free air. Here we go, the countdown's on now, just for when the flag's going to drop. There it is, that's where the flag drops there, just as we go under that race gantry for the timing point. As we run really wide, we missed our braking point. So we're on the final lap. We've got plenty of fuel left. We could have been stationary a little less. We could have took 14.2 laps of fuel by the looks of it. And there we go, in first place. 30 laps, very much closer to actually finishing the 31st lap. But there we have it. It is possible to win this race on a one stop. And there you have it, we lapped everybody down to Suswillow. We must have passed him whilst he was in the pits. This car is in the race. Ordonez is racing it. Well, I did not know that. There we go. Well, there you have it. Ordonez is there, but it proves that it's a good one. The R8 is one we could try. The Ford GT race car. The 4C is one I want to try. The F-Type, we know we need to find a solution to that. But there it is. She's a beaut. And there we go, folks. That's it all over again. Let's just check the tables and make sure it didn't move us around. No, it just records our first win, which is always the case. Look at that, BB's got in there. Victor's there around 30. All of them have done it. Oomph, mate. You can do it. You know you can. 8 Ral 4. There we go. Pirate Jim, a new one to my list. Mr. Maggiorre always at the top. Well, thank you very much, folks. It's good of you to join us. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. All the best. No credits and a 4-star ticket. Happy days.